Yo, what is up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And as you guys can see by the title, we're going to be talking about how I became a successful content creator. This is just going to be a straightforward video. There's not going to be like this magical tools or tricks that you can become like a successful content creator overnight. So if that's what you're looking for, this isn't the video for you. This is a video of how I personally developed like a personal brand over the span of 7 years doing this full time. But I've been doing content creation since about like 2012 is when I really started to kind of like post on Instagram and get into those things. So I want to talk about what content creation or what a content creator is just right off the bat, so people kind of understand that, because I think it's still kind of a gray area of what people understand what content creation is. So in simple terms, a content creator is a person who creates content for a specific brand to promote on their social media to their audience, to drive traffic to that brand, potential sales, and all that different stuff. Your traditional marketing isn't something that's really a thing nowadays, where people are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on commercials anymore, because one thing that we're always on is we're always on our phones. So they're pushing advertisements through trusted voices to be able to get a new product out there that they want to get to a specific audience, a group of people, whatever it is. That's what a content creator is. They create content for that brand, they post it on their social media, it drives traffic to that brand, and they get paid and compensated for doing that. It's basically they create mini commercials in short form to drive traffic to whatever brand it is. So that's what a content creator is in simple terms. If you guys want to look up more details on that, you can. And I want to talk about how much money I make as a content creator, which I think it's kind of taboo to be talking about what you make as a content creator. But at the same time, if you guys want to understand what can actually be done, someone has to tell you exactly what can be done. I make on average, I would say probably $350,000 to $400,000 a year from content creation, social media, affiliate marketing, all that stuff combined. I would say, yeah, probably on average like $350,000 to $400,000. The highest I've got paid is probably around like $550,000, almost like $600,000 in like a peak year. So there's a lot of money to be made in content creation. This year alone, if I go to like my Notion and look at like my payouts that are owed to me, and this is some stuff that's carried over from the previous years of holiday campaigns and stuff like that, I am owed right now $108,000. That's all pending money. Some of the campaigns are done, some of them have to be completed this year, and so forth. But that's what I'm already owed this year, and it's February 8th. So if you can track that, you can potentially make millions and millions of dollars. But I'm not even one, like, I wouldn't say I'm one of the highest paid content creators, but I do make a significant amount of money for myself, especially being independent. I'm not represented by a agency or anything like that. I negotiate all my deals. I wrote down a couple of notes, that way I can hit certain points in here, that way that you guys can get the full spill. So let me pull these up in my YouTube notes. And I've already gone over that, and introducing myself of how I got into content creation. Back in 2012, I was taking pictures and kind of posting them on Instagram with my football career. And as my football career was doing well, I would post pictures of the football games on TV. Growing to social media was a lot easier back then than it is right now. So in 2012, I would kind of just post like my outfits, my DIY stuff that I would get from thrift stores, be able to turn that stuff into kind of like high-end stuff, because at the time, obviously nobody has a lot of money in college, and you're just able to recreate things that are affordable. So I started doing that on YouTube, started to post it on my Instagram. I was doing custom jeans and stuff too. So that's how I kind of started in content creation, was just posting my outfits, going out with my friends, taking pictures, and just, it was a hobby. It was no way, shape, or form was I thinking like, oh, this is going to be my career, because I was focused on football and I was focused on sports, and I felt like that was going to be my way to success. It didn't work out that way. I'm kind of glad it didn't, and I'm honestly really I'm really glad that football didn't work out and this is the path that I took. But starting out in content creation, it just was literally a hobby. No one looked at getting paid, didn't even know you could get paid. In 2012 and stuff like that, I don't think a lot of people were getting paid anyways, unless it was just like blogging or writing something out on a blog and, you know, going over fashion and stuff like that too. So that's how I started off in that. And as I progressed through college, obviously being on TV and playing football, I was able to grow an audience up to I think around like 50, maybe 60,000 followers. I'm not sure exactly what it was in college. And from there, I started to get some traction because social media was shifting a lot. So when I was at the tail end of my college career, it was around like 2016 is when social media kind of really started to like take over. Instagram became more of the thing that people were on. They were sharing more things. They were transitioning from Facebook over to Instagram. MySpace was no longer a thing. And you know that social media transition took place. So as I'm getting out of college, I'm still posting like my fashion stuff on YouTube, etc. I got a nice little audience. And I got my first like paid deal back in 2016. And it was from Puma. Puma reached out to me. I had no idea. I never had actually done like a paid partnership, never gotten offered a paid partnership with a big brand like that, especially. And I honestly thought it was a scam. So I had reached out to my dad. I'm like, yo, like Puma reached out to me. And at this time, they were offering me like $500 for one post. And I'm like, okay, like that sounds cool, sounds exciting, and it's something that, you know, I like doing anyway. So I signed the contract, and then fast forward, you know, the shoes that they wanted me to promote started coming. And this was at the time when I was living with my sister. So that happened. I hired a photographer, which was my friend Dimitri. We went out, we took some pictures, I posted it on Instagram, and boom, like, you know, I think around then we were looking at like 30, 60, 90-day net sometimes, which is fucking insane. But I got paid the $500. And I have another talking point here that I would definitely want to hit. I wanted to talk about how like I transitioned in from making that like a hobby and something that I was just chilling on and turning it into a career. So after that first paid deal, I wanted to start understanding the business side of what content creation was about. So I started doing my research of how to find brand emails and all that stuff. And this is back again in 2016 when nobody's really like reaching out to brands, trying to work with them. And it's not really a thing of being like a content creator, influencer, whatever you want to call it at the time. And I wanted to start building my portfolio. And I want to express to you guys like the importance of building your portfolio, because nowadays like people just think like, oh, I just need to be paid. I need to be paid. I need to be paid. Yeah. In some senses, like if you grow an audience, you got like strong engagement, yes, of course you deserve to get paid. At the beginning stages, like as I'm growing and this is a new thing that's being introduced, I started accepting a few things where it would build my portfolio. I worked with Timberland. I never got paid by Timberland, but I was able to put it in my portfolio and show other bigger brands that I was able to work with Timberland. They didn't know I didn't get paid, you know, and so forth. So building the portfolio was a key part to growing my personal brand, and that leads me into just like reaching out to brands. At that time, DMs and stuff got created, so you're able to DM brands, or if you could go on like LinkedIn or find the email address to whatever it is, whatever way that I could find a contact, I found a contact. And my goal every week, and this is when I started like full time, was to find 60 brands a day. 60 brands a day, that's no lie. 60 brands a day to reach out to, whether it's DM, email, all that stuff, reach out to them and figure out like, yo, can we work? And that was a very much struggle, I'm not gonna lie, because you reach out to 60 people and shit, you might hear back from, you know, 3. 2 might be no's, all 3 might be no's, and you're just kind of searching for that yes. So once I got in contact with these brands, I started to learn how to negotiate. And it's a very key part of being successful in this field is learning to negotiate to where it works best for both parties. Because you don't want to get taken advantage of, because a lot of people don't understand the amount of money that's being put behind these campaigns and this stuff because they're uneducated. And so was I at the beginning, because I was accepting stuff that I shouldn't have been accepting. But when you're uneducated in an area, you don't know any better. And that's why I make these type of videos, is to make people understand like, yo, there's a lot of money here. And if you have the, you know, capacity to go ask for that and you have the skills to go ask for that, you need to ask for that. So learning to negotiate was a very key thing at the beginning, structuring emails. And I go over all this stuff. Like if you guys want to check out my ebook, you guys can, because I know it's going to be a lot of questions. Like, do you have a course or something like that? I do have an ebook that I do offer. And I also offer social media or personal brand consulting that you guys can find on my site too. So learning to negotiate is a very key thing. Make sure that you don't sell yourself short. Shoot for the stars, and that's something that I'll talk about at the end of this video, is how to actually negotiate and get the best value out of what you're doing. And then learning how to continuously grow my audience was another important thing, because you don't want to get so stale in doing the same thing over and over and over. People want to be a part of your journey and see your growth. Nobody wants to see somebody at the same stage of their life, their entirety of like following someone. There has to be milestones that you hit. And each milestone that I hit, I literally shared each milestone, from, quitting my job, sleeping on my sister's couch, moving in with a roommate in a 1.5 bedroom, to content creation full time, to starting a business, building a business. All that stuff was documented. And that's how I was able to grow an audience, is because I literally just documented everything and shared my journey. And a lot of people are uncomfortable doing that. But if this is something that you want as a career, you have to understand that sharing your life is a part of it. And then people's opinions and all that shit is going to be a part of it as well. So it's just something that kind of like comes with the territory. But it's something that I wanted to do, and it's something that I was passionate about. And getting paid to be myself, shit, that's like the ultimate goal. At the end of the day, you wake up, you be yourself, you show it, you show your progression in life, and you're progressing as a person, and also getting paid to show your progression, which again, there's no feeling like that. And another thing that I wrote down on here is just like investing in my craft and getting better at it. Like at the beginning, like I shot all my stuff like on my iPhone. And at the time, because I'm speaking back to like, the 2016 and how Instagram was, everybody wanted like professional photos. So I'm like, like I need to get a photographer and be able to have like my page look professional. Because at the time, brands were looking for those pages that had that like it factor, like crisp photos, just crisp everything. Everything just looks nice, clean, aesthetic, all those different things. And obviously social media has shifted. But during this time, investing in your craft and investing in yourself is very important, and that's still important to this day. You don't have to have the most expensive camera to go out and create content nowadays. You just need to invest in things that are gonna progressively move forward, whether it's a nice little microphone so your audio is better, so your audience can hear you, whether it's in investing in, taking different trips, or investing in different technology if you're a tech person, whatever it is that can help you progress. And for me at the time, it was fashion. I would get like the new shoes that I could afford and try to keep up with those things, because me buying those things was ultimately going to help grow my audience in the streetwear community, because it's important to have the new drops and all the rest of that stuff. So that's me investing in my craft. You don't want to just go out and buy things just to kind of like show off. Buy the things because it's going to help you grow your audience in the field that you're wanting to grow in. So that leads me into like the keys to my growth. You have to understand, with content creation, I always wanted to be a hybrid. And what I mean by that is I wanted to be able to do everything, whether it's fashion, it's tech, it's lifestyle, alcohol, food and beverage, whatever it is. Because if you're stuck in one lane, let's just say fashion in my case, you're gonna hit a ceiling. And I hit a ceiling at some point, because you're gonna work with every fashion brand. There's not gonna be anybody else to work with, and it's gonna become super repetitive, and people are gonna get bored. And the moment that people get bored is the moment that people leave, or they're not as engaged with their content anymore. So you have to have these different pillars, and what I call it is a tree, just like this fig plant behind me. It's got different leaves, and all these different leaves represent a bunch of different areas or styles of content that I can create for myself, and it opens up different avenues and companies that I can work with, which generates more revenue. So you have to understand that and be able to evolve constantly over time. Because if you I don't want to say like you shouldn't niche down, because you should have a foundation of what you started with, but it shouldn't just be like over and over and over the same thing. Like nobody wants to eat the same meal every fucking day, just because like it gets old. So keep that in mind. And I always kept that in mind as I've grown my personal brand, is always be constantly evolving and grow yourself and have different branches to what you actually do. And then taking people along the journey with you. Like I said earlier, taking people along the journey allows them to be a part, or feel like they're a part of your successes with you. And you also have to be relatable. the one thing that I think of that influencers have is the relatability that celebrities don't, because people look at celebrities as just like, oh, they have everything together. I don't see that as obtainable, but a person like myself or a person that you follow is going along the journey and showing you step by step of how they're getting there, and you're seeing them progress. You can relate more to that, and you can have a personal relationship with them. Obviously, it's over the internet, but you can obviously connect with them on levels that you can't with a celebrity. So that's always important, to be relatable and just also like have vulnerable moments of where you're just sharing things that like you probably don't think you should probably be sharing, but at the same time, you're able to connect with your audience because they may be going through the exact same thing that you're going through, and you guys can build a connection that way too. And then consistency, it's a thing, but you don't want to just overdo something just because like, oh, I need to post 3-4 times a week and this and this. Yeah, like people got these crazy like strategies and stuff like that. I never had like a crazy strategy of the amount of content that I should be posting. I always look at content creation like this. Consistency needs to be, in the same sense, valuable. Because yes, entertainment is great, but if somebody sees like a super entertaining video and it's like, oh, that's something like really cool, versus like value something that a person can really like actually apply to their life. And if you can bring value to someone's life, they'll keep coming back more and more for that value versus the entertainment. Entertainment is great to capture someone's attention, but the value that you can bring to them will ultimately keep them there, and it will create a long-lasting relationship over time. So consistency is great, but also keep in mind like the value that you're bringing to your audience is really important too. And then understanding like my worth, because again, this goes back to being uneducated in the field of content creation, is if no one talks about like, oh, you can charge $20,000 for a post, how are you ever supposed to understand that? And me, over the course of time, and this is just being transparent, when I was doing streetwear, I was only charging $2,000 to $3,000 a post. And even at that time, I think the most I was getting paid was like $5,000 a month from a company, but I was doing multiple posts. And I had gotten more money from doing like a food and beverage thing. I actually did Crown Royal. My alcohol ones were way higher than fashion. It was way less work. And it started to make me realize like there's really no money in fashion. There's no money in fashion. There's more money in lifestyle things and stuff that's like home, tech, all those different things. Like fashion is literally the lowest paying tier of content creation. And I'm just being transparent with that and being honest. So understanding that and understanding my value is really where I started to make the money that I make now, is because I started to ask for the amounts that other people were charging and being able to get that money, because if you don't ask, you'll never receive. Just like the old saying, like squeaky wheel gets the oil. Like if I think I deserve $20,000, and again, like my content, my engagement, my audience backs that up, that's what I'm gonna ask for. And I started asking for that, and I started to get those deals, and it started to make me understand that, like there's some serious money in this, and I can really like change my life and get to a point where I'm able to just like live the way that I want to live. But you have to understand your value, and understanding that you can land these big paid deals. I think the largest deal that I've done to date is like a $50,000 deal. And I think I've had 2 of those. And it was very like minimal work. And plus I added commission on top of those deals, and structuring deals is really important too. And it's something that I go over like in my ebook. But being able to land that first deal was like very eye-opening. And then from there, like I really started to focus on the long-term relationships with brands. And that's something, again, that a lot of people don't talk about. You don't really want to do one-off partnerships. One-off partnerships is cool. Like you'll get your money. It is what it is. But you want to build a long-term relationship so you can keep working with people. That's the same thing with agencies too. You want to build a long-term relationship with these agencies, so every single time that they get a client, they think of you. You guys both get paid. You guys continue that relationship, and it keeps going. So building those relationships with brands agencies long-term is always the goal. Don't just look at the short-term money. Look at the long-term goal. And that leads me into like the last point of like in content creation, like longevity. I think longevity when it comes to content creation, I don't look at this as just like, you know, a quick fix of something that gives you like a quick high and then like it's gone. No, like longevity. And longevity consists of YouTube. It's not just short form content, because YouTube allows me to connect with you guys on a deeper level than short form content will ever do. A minute and 30 seconds, I can never really get my point across, especially on Instagram. Obviously TikTok has 10 minutes now, but on here, I'm able to show my personality. I'm able to connect with you guys, and I'm able to give you guys way more information. And for me, this is the longevity for me. Short form content, I'll always be great at, but to sharpen my tools and to sharpen my sword per se for the longevity of my career in content creation, YouTube is where it's at. So longevity is what people need to think about. You don't want to blow up off of a viral moment and you can't sustain that. A lot of creators will blow up off of a viral moment and then years later you hear nothing about them. It's about the slow growth, tortoise in the hare. Just like prime example, take your time. If you do get a moment where you blow up and it's sporadic and you're able to take off, I've had that moment to where I gained 400,000 followers on Instagram, but it was for the right reasons. Bro, ride that wave, but understand that you're gonna forever have to constantly evolve, because short form content can be duplicated. It's duplicated all the time. Long form content and your personality and the way that you speak, articulate, and you connect with your audience on here, that's the longevity. That's the longevity. That's why you see me on here a lot more. And the more that I grow as a person, the more that I can teach you, the older I get, the wiser I get, the lessons that I learn, all those different things, it'll continuously be able to be a never-ending story of progression and teaching people things that I've learned, and you guys will be able to follow that journey with me, from me starting out, you know, sleeping on my sister's couch to getting into entrepreneurship, to building a business, to having a girlfriend, to building a family, to all these different things that I'm going to be able to teach through my own experiences. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. And that's like how I've been able to be a successful content creator, is because I look at it as like a personal brand that you build over time. You build a community that respects your work. You bring value to them. You're not just looking for entertainment. And I think a lot of people are understanding that entertainment it's slowly fading. Like the aesthetic of just like a perfect lifestyle is slowly fading. We're imperfect humans, man. And I know I'm getting off track as far as just like content creation, but I'm just speaking like from my heart. The reason that I think that I'm going to continuously be successful at this is let me not even say think. The reason that I know that I'm going to be successful at this is because I'm forever constantly evolving, and I'm forever understanding that there's longevity in this if I keep going the path that I have of bringing value to people, and understanding that the more I learn and the more that I can teach, it'll forever be an audience that needs to learn something, whether it's a younger kid, a woman that follows me that just wants to, you know, structure her life, whatever it is. Being able to appeal to a broad audience is always key. So that's how I have been able to be a successful content creator, is those steps right there. And again, if you guys want more details and a more in-depth look, obviously you can do consultation calls, and then also you can just look at my ebook. It's $30. It's like 78 pages of videos and text that you guys can check out. Hopefully that gives you some more insight on how I've been able to be a successful content creator. And I've been talking for 24 minutes, straight off the top of the dome. Yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.